Have you ever wondered why some garden projects just flourish while others completely flop? Well, it turns out creating great soil isn't about luck at all. It's about science. So today we're going to break down 5 foundational principles that will totally change how you look at improving your soil. Let's get into it.
Oh man, we have all been here. You put in the hours, the sweat, the money, and you end up with something like this. It's so frustrating, right? But it makes you ask a really important question. What on earth went wrong? Seriously, why did this project fail?
The answer is probably a lot simpler than you think. The single biggest mistake people make is they jump straight to a solution without ever getting a proper diagnosis. So from now on, I want you to start thinking of yourself as a soil doctor. Your first job isn't to start treating things, it's to understand your patient.
And that leads us right into our first principle. You have to give your soil a complete and thorough checkup. I mean, think about it. A doctor would never just hand you a prescription without examining you first, and you can't possibly improve soil that you don't really understand.
A really good checkup has 2 absolutely essential parts. First, you've got the body. That's the physical stuff, the things you can see and feel, like the soil's structure and how well it holds onto water. But then you have the blood work. That's all the invisible chemistry going on, like its pH and salinity, which can literally make or break your project. You have to look at both. No skipping.
So when we're checking these physical vitals, we're looking at a whole bunch of factors that are all linked together. We're talking everything from its texture and how much organic matter is in there, to how quickly water can soak in and, drain away. The most important thing to remember here is that none of these things exist on their own. They all impact each other. And this right here is the perfect example of why just looking at one piece of the puzzle leads to failure. So let's say you fix a drainage issue, but you totally ignore that your soil has basically 0 organic matter. Okay, great, the water drains away, but now your plants are starving because they can't get any nutrients. Or maybe you improve the texture, but the soil itself repels water. It's completely useless if water can't even get into the soil in the first place. You've got to see the whole picture.
Okay, now for the blood work. The soil's chemistry. This quote is so important. It really gets to the heart of the matter. You could literally go and dump a truckload of expensive phosphorus fertilizer on your soil, but if it's highly acidic, your plants won't be able to use a single drop of it. The pH actually locks the nutrients away, making them unavailable. If you don't test the chemistry, you're just throwing money away.
All right, so you've decided to do the right thing and get a soil test. That's awesome. But this brings us to principle number 2. If you want a lab result you can trust, you have to collect a sample you can trust. You absolutely cannot contaminate the evidence.
And look, getting that trustworthy sample really just boils down to 4 critical steps. You got to use the right tools. You need to collect from a bunch of different spots to get a good average of the whole area. Package it the right way so the chemistry doesn't change on its way to the lab. And, of course, label it perfectly. Every single step here matters.
This quote really drives the point home. Your entire plan, everything you're about to spend your time and money on, is going to be based on the results of that one soil test. If you take a bad sample, you're going to get bad test results, and your whole plan is basically doomed from the start.
Okay, let's talk about principle number 3. Once you have those reliable lab results back, it's time to put on your doctor's coat and write the right prescription. This is all about matching the perfect cure to the specific condition that you diagnosed. Applying the wrong material is such a classic mistake. For instance, gypsum is great for sodium-affected clay soil, but it does absolutely nothing for an acidic, sandy soil. You've just wasted your money. Or, picture this, your sandy soil repels water, so you decide to add fertilizer. Well, that fertilizer is just going to wash away with the next rainfall, because the water can't even get into the soil to carry it to the roots. You're treating a symptom, not the actual problem.
But even with the right diagnosis and the right prescription, you're still not out of the woods. You can still fail if you get the dosage wrong, which brings us to principle number 4. The dose makes the cure. Getting that application rate exactly right is completely non-negotiable.
And the key to getting the dose right comes down to one word: calibration. It's just the process of setting up your equipment, your spreader or whatever you're using, to deliver the precise amount of material that your plan calls for. Not a little more, not a little less, exactly right.
This chart shows you exactly why calibration is so critical. If you underapply, you don't actually fix the deficiency, you just wasted product. But if you overapply, you can create a whole new set of problems, like raising the pH so high that you lock out other nutrients. That sweet spot in the middle, the correct application rate, that's the only way you're going to get success.
So, after you've done the proper diagnosis, you've taken a clean sample, you've written the right prescription, and you've applied the perfect dose, then you get to see the magic happen. You get to see that real transformation. You've literally taken that soil from its sickbed and turned it into a showcase.
So let's circle all the way back to the very beginning. We started with this question about that failed project. But now, after everything we've covered, I think you know the answer. It wasn't just one single thing that went wrong. It was a whole chain of errors, and every single one of them was preventable. It was a domino effect of small mistakes that added up to one big failure.
First, there was a poor diagnosis. They missed the full picture. That was followed by a contaminated sample, which led to bad data. Then came the wrong prescription for the problem they actually had, and the final nail in the coffin was an incorrect dose from poor calibration. See how each failure connects directly to one of our principles? But here's the good news. Avoiding that entire chain reaction is actually pretty straightforward. It all comes down to mastering these 5 foundational principles. This is your playbook, your framework for success, every single time.
So, think about that project you've been dreaming up, that piece of lawn or that garden bed you want to transform. Your next project is waiting for you. The only question left is, are you ready to be the doctor your soil desperately needs?